Ah, what a wild ride through time. Imagine this. Long before anyone even dreamed of a place called Germany, these lands were already buzzing with life at the end of the last ice age, around 12,000 years ago. As the glaciers melted, Mesolithic hunter-gatherers roamed the valleys of the Rhine and Elbe, living off the land. Then came the Neolithic Revolution, bringing farming knowledge from Anatolia, the Balkans, and beyond the Black Sea. By about 5,500 BC, people were building the iconic longhouse villages of the linear Bankermic culture. They grew wheat and barley, herded cattle and sheep, crafted pottery, and cleared forests with stone axes. This was the beginning of settled life. Fast forward to the Bronze Age, and things get even more interesting. Around 2300 BC, the Urnfield culture emerged, followed by the Hallstatt and Latine periods, the age of the Celts. Southern Germany, modern Bavaria, and Baden-Württemberg, along with the Rhine Valley, became home to tribes like the Boii, Volsi, and Helvetii. They forged iron tools, built wheeled carts, and fortified towns known as Oppida. Meanwhile, in the north, Proto-Germanic peoples from the Jastorf culture were moving down from Scandinavia. By the 1st century BC, a rough line had formed, Celts south of the Danube and Rhine, Germanic tribes to the north. Then the Romans arrived. Julius Caesar conquered Gaul between 58 and 50 BC, crossed the Rhine, and encountered tribes like the Suebi, Ubii, and Tencteri. He described them as fierce and disciplined warriors. But Rome never fully conquered Germania. Augustus sent his stepsons Drusus and Tiberius on campaigns from 12 BC to AD 9, pushing toward the Elbe. Then came disaster in AD 9. Publius Quinctilius Varus lost 3 legions, 17, 18, 19, in the Teutoburg forest, ambushed by Arminius. Around 20,000 Romans died. Rome abandoned its dream of conquering Germania and instead fortified its borders along the Rhine and Danube with the Limes Germanicus. Still, Roman influence spread. Cities like Cologne, Colonia Agrippinensis, Mainz, Mogontiacum, and Trier, Augusta Treverorum flourished. Many Germanic men served as Roman auxiliaries, earning citizenship and bringing Roman goods and customs back home. Meanwhile, in their own lands, Germanic tribes lived in villages, made decisions in assemblies called things, followed warrior chieftains, and worshipped gods like Woden, Donner, and Tawaz. By the 3rd and 4th centuries, Rome weakened. Tribes such as the Alemanni, Burgundians, and Marcomanni pushed harder against the borders. In 378, the Visigoths defeated Rome at Adrianople. In 406, Vandals, Suebi, and Alans crossed the frozen Rhine. In 410, Alaric sacked Rome. By 476, the Western Roman Empire had fallen. Amid the chaos, new kingdoms rose. The Franks became dominant. Clovis became king in 481 and converted to Catholic Christianity in 496, aligning himself with the Roman population. His kingdom expanded, though it was divided after his death. In the 8th century, the Carolingians took power. Charles Martel stopped Arab expansion at Tours in 732. His grandson, Charlemagne, ruled from 768, fought the Saxon Wars, expanded his empire, and was crowned emperor in Rome on Christmas Day 800. After his death in 814, the empire was divided in 843 at the Treaty of Verdun. East Francia, under Louis the German, became the foundation of Germany. In 919, Henry the Fowler was elected king. His son Otto I defeated the Magyars at Lechfeld in 955 and was crowned emperor in 962, marking the beginning of the Holy Roman Empire. It was never a centralized state but a patchwork of principalities, bishoprics, free cities, and territories. Emperors were elected and power was limited. In 1356, the Golden Bull formalized the system of 7 electors who would choose the emperor. Despite political fragmentation, culture flourished. Gothic cathedrals like Cologne Cathedral soared. The Hanseatic League dominated trade across the Baltic and North Sea. German settlers moved eastward in the Ostsiedlung. The Teutonic Knights expanded into the Baltic region. The late 15th and early 16th centuries brought revolution. Gutenberg's printing press in Mainz around the 1440s transformed communication. In 1517, Martin Luther published his 95 Theses in Wittenberg, challenging indulgences and papal authority. The Reformation spread rapidly. The Peace of Augsburg in 1555 allowed rulers to choose between Catholicism and Lutheranism. Then came catastrophe. The 30 Years' War, 1618 to 1648, sparked by the defenestration of Prague. The war devastated German lands. Up to a third of the population perished. The Peace of Westphalia ended the conflict but left the empire weakened. In the 18th century, rivalry grew between Austria and Prussia. Frederick the Great of Prussia expanded territory and strengthened the state. Enlightenment thinkers like Kant, Goethe, and Schiller shaped culture. The French Revolution and Napoleon transformed Europe. In 1806, the Holy Roman Empire was dissolved. After Napoleon's defeat, the Congress of Vienna created the German Confederation in 1815. Industrialization accelerated. Coal, steel, railways, and companies like Krupp and Siemens drove growth. The Zollverein Customs Union economically united most German states. In 1871, after wars against Denmark, Austria, and France, Otto von Bismarck unified Germany. Germany. Wilhelm I was proclaimed Kaiser in Versailles. The German Empire became a powerful industrial and military state. After World War I, Germany became the Weimar Republic. Political instability, hyperinflation, and the Great Depression weakened democracy. In 1933, Adolf Hitler became chancellor. The Nazi regime established dictatorship, persecuted Jews and minorities, and launched World War II in 1939. The Holocaust murdered 6 million Jews, along with millions of others. In 1945, Germany was defeated and divided. In 1949, West Germany, Federal Republic, and East Germany, Democratic Republic, were established. West Germany experienced rapid economic growth, the Wirtschaftswunder, while East Germany remained under communist rule. The Berlin Wall, built in 1961, symbolized division. In 1989, peaceful protests and political changes led to the fall of the Berlin Wall. On October 3, 1990, Germany was reunified. Today, Germany has about 83 million people and is Europe's largest economy. It is a leading force in the European Union and NATO, known for its automotive, industrial, and technological strength. Its history includes dark chapters, especially the Holocaust and World War II, but also remarkable recovery, democratic stability, and a central role in building modern Europe. From ancient tribes to a unified democracy, Germany's story is long, turbulent, and powerful, and it's still being written. But to truly understand Germany, we need to slow down, because this land was never just a country. It was an idea, a battlefield, a crossroads, a laboratory of power, faith, industry, and ideology. After reunification in 1990, Germany faced one of the greatest peaceful transformations in modern history. The Berlin Wall had fallen, but the invisible wall remained. East and West were not simply territories. They were two different systems, two different economies, two different mentalities shaped over 40 years. West Germany had grown under capitalism, NATO protection, and the Marshall Plan. It had built brands recognized worldwide: Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Siemens. It had embraced a social market economy that balanced capitalism with welfare. East Germany, by contrast, had been shaped by Soviet-style planning. Industry existed, but it lagged behind Western productivity. Infrastructure had decayed. The Stasi had built one of the most extensive surveillance states in history. Reunification was not just symbolic. It was expensive. Trillions flowed eastward to rebuild roads, railways, factories, and cities. Some regions recovered quickly. Others struggled with unemployment and population decline. The promise of blossoming landscapes took decades to materialize. Yet Germany stabilized. Berlin became the capital again, reclaiming its role not as a divided symbol, but as a unified center. The rebuilt Reichstag with its glass dome symbolized democratic transparency, power visible to the people. Germany became a pillar of the European Union, supported the euro, expanded cooperation eastward, and transformed from destabilizing force to stabilizing anchor. Economically, it relied on industrial depth, engineering precision, and the strength of the Mittelstand, family-owned firms dominating specialized global markets. Challenges continued: the 2008 financial crisis, the Eurozone crisis, the 2015 refugee wave, shifting political landscapes. Yet institutions held. Energy transition reshaped policy through the energy wend. Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022 triggered a historic policy shift, Zeitenwende, boosting defense and redefining security. Modern Germany carries its past openly. Holocaust memorials stand in city centers. Schools teach remembrance. Responsibility is institutionalized. Cities layer centuries. Gothic cathedrals beside modern skylines. Medieval streets near industrial ports. Baroque reconstructions beside contemporary glass towers. Federal identity remains strong. Bavaria differs from Saxony, the Rhineland from Brandenburg, yet unity persists through law and democracy. From tribal things to the Bundestag, from Roman frontiers to European open borders, from fragmentation to federation, from dictatorship to democratic stability. Germany has burned and rebuilt, fractured and unified, collapsed and risen again. Its story spans forests, empires, revolutions, world wars, division, and reconciliation, and it is still unfolding.